Well, my friends, here we are, right into spring, May the 21st, I think it is, and Mother Nature is giving us the pleasure of many, many wildflowers today. It's just wonderful to see how abundant life is here on Earth. It's wonderful. And here we have a sea of yellow, thousands upon thousands of beautiful little dandelions in the meadow. I often wonder why people go to such extent to poison them and kill them and see them as bad. It's a crazy little world, isn't it? Anyhow, Mother Nature is wonderful. She provides a lot for us. We should be grateful. Anyhow, let's go do some shooting and have some fun. Back in a minute. Okay, guys, so today we have Horace Ford's well-worn book here. And one of the things that Horace is talking about, he says that it is therefore recommended that the arrow be pulled just to the point where the commencement of the pile touches the bow and no farther. Thus the arrow should be longer by the length of the pile than the archer's actual draw. He also says right here, the arrow be pulled the same length. Well, I like a longer arrow, so I don't really want to pull it until it's touching the bow. But to have a standardized length for your draw would be good. So today we're doing a little experiment. Now what we've done, I've taken a little elastic band and I took a felt pen and made a mark. So I drew it until my finger would just touch the band, and it's 4.5 inches. Okay, so I have to move it each time, but I was thinking that I may put some tape there or a little something for marking. But in doing this, you see, if my anchor is always here, then when this comes back and touches my finger, it's the same length every time. So that gives me a little bit of consistency. So I'm going to try that as an experiment, and we'll see how it works. Because, you know, yes, you can always touch the same spot, but when you push, you know, your hand may go to there or there. Now, you know, if you push an inch past, if you're pushing hard, well, that's about gaining 2.5, 3 pounds. Or if you're short drawing slightly, you're losing 2.5 or 3 pounds. So you could have a variance of maybe 6 pounds up at this end. And you know, the horizon, as you look at the horizon, it always goes up, right? You look at the horizon, the ground is down here, and it's up towards the horizon. So the farther you push, the farther we push out, the higher up that arrow is going to go. Okay, so if you're pushing farther sometimes, you're going to shoot high a little bit. Or if you're short drawing slightly, you may shoot low a little bit. It's not just the power that makes it go high or low, it's also the elevation. But anyhow, that's our little experiment for today. And we'll try this out, and then we'll figure out a better way of fastening a little bump. Anyhow, back in a minute. Let's do some shooting. Okay, now so we're going to be doing a parallel draw, and we're going to check out these little rubber bands to see if we can get a consistent draw. You need to experiment when you're doing archery. The the elastic makes a nice big pop when it hits. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting the bow over that way, and as I draw, I bring both over. But you know, before the day's over, I'll be doing something else. So. Okay, so, you know, there is about 1,000 ways to shoot. That little idea that I'm just doing right there, it really works pretty good, you know? So I just take a normal stance, but again, you'll see what I'm doing. The arrow is pointing off to that side, and this is visually, to me, parallel to the target. You're the target, and that looks parallel. And we're just sort of bringing them together so that when this one touches, that one's on. And here we've got a whole piece of cardboard that about the size of a deer. It's down here, standard, you know, 21 yards, but there's our hits on it. But we will check out that constant draw. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, guys, now we're going to practice aiming with our elbow. So this is not a parallel draw. Two little boys are rolling the arrow on. The elbow goes down until it's straight, until the arrow looks straight. Okay, you know, shooting a bow like this, you don't have a shelf. I've noticed that a lot of guys can shoot better than me. You know, if they have a good recurve and they've got a shelf, they can get it so that they're shooting better than this. But this is what I want to do. Now, I'll tell you something else. If you're moving at all, if you take your fingers and just hold your fingers up so that they're open about 1/8 of an inch, just a little tiny bit, okay? And then you look at your target and you see that that much difference here is actually about 8 inches over there, okay? So if you move up slightly or down slightly, well, 8 inches up and 8 inches down, you know, you've got a variance of this kind of distance. So that's one thing, you know. It's really important to try to put your arrow on the same little spot. But again, if it's off by the tiniest bit, you're off by the tiniest bit. Anyhow, half the fun, I guess, is just being able to shoot, you know, and it's not real, you know, it's not real going to the Olympic stuff, but they can be shot, you know, they can be shot fairly accurately, enough to hunt a deer or something like that, but not going to the Olympics. Anyhow, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys, let's see if we can get a couple different angles so that you can see. I'm pushing it on the center. I'm drawing right back to here. That's where I aim. see that? Right back here. It's a very short draw. Keep it close. Well, two of them were beautiful. And one's just on the side. When you shoot two beauties, you should always stop. Let's see what we can do here. That was a nice third one. Okay, so look, I'm pushing it on the center line. I'm drawing back so that it's very close, because when it's close, that's when it becomes easy to line up. The two little boys are rolling one on the other. Okay, very close. When it's lined up, now I simply come back to the corner with a relaxed arm. That's it. And if you do that, you can get some hits. So we had we had two nice ones out of the top, and then I dropped one on the left hip there. So anyhow, I popped another one into him. But it works. Okay, guys. Okay, have fun. Talk to you in a while. Okay, guys. So you know how I've been talking about the close draw, that I come back and I'm only, let's say, 4 inches from my face, from my anchor. That's when I relax my arms and allow my arm to roll until that arrow goes straight. And then I only come back a very short distance. And I'm saying that that's less chance of pulling myself off by only coming back a little distance. Well, there's a man named Major Fisher who was Horsford's friend. And of course, we don't have tapes and we don't have movies or anything like that. Not even any photographs other than this one on that front page there. Anyhow, Fisher writes this. He says, he's talking about Horace, and he says, his peculiar style of drawing is indelibly impressed upon my memory. The gradual rise of the bow and shaft from below, the gaze fixed upon the target, the long continuous draw till 4 inches alone remained undrawn of the arrow, the pause, then for the aim, which he ever conceived, declared, and illustrated to by splendid results to be the correct method of aiming, then the completion of the draw fully to the bottom of the pile of steel, the left arm rigid as steel, but most singularly the right hand and fingers trembled many times to and fro under the strain, neither smart nor quick nor smooth. His loose at last came off, distinctly hindered by the tremor of the strain. But it was finally done, and done to such a nicety and with such monotony as to be most irritating to me. Anyhow, he would draw and get it back about here, and there was like a little pause. Well, he didn't pause, he didn't stop. He was correcting his aim. And I'm saying, if you do it right here and you correct your aim by rolling your arm, you'll come onto that target. And now, as far as writing, Horace did write this. He says, all archers, good, bad, and indifferent, are peculiarly subject more or less to one failing, namely that of completing the draw. after the aim is taken in a somewhat different line to that occupied by the arrow. Instead of making it, as they should do, an exact continuation of that line, dropping the right hand or letting it incline to the right or both, the effect being to cast the arrow out of the direction it had indicated. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying from here you can come straight back, not a rotational draw. He is saying that if you're drawing back and you're bringing your hand down, if you're drawing back in a rotational draw, bring your hand to the right, that you can easily pull yourself off. And that's why I'm saying we want this short draw. We're going to be real close, and now we just come straight back. Not or just straight back. Okay? Anyhow, that's a little bit of stuff on archery, its theory and practice. Okay, guys, so anyhow, keep on shooting, keep on Viking, have some fun. I'll talk to you later. Bye now. I took the elastics off the arrows. Didn't seem to be helping me that much, and it was kind of mechanical. But yeah, we can aim with our elbow just fine. Yeah, I'm doing just fine without any kind of a mechanical device. So I took it off. Really, it's all just about the pressure, you know. All this set and stuff, exact and everything like that. I don't know. I'm not a machine. I just can feel it. And something, though, I would say is when I push that on, when I line that arrow up, it's right here. It's right here, and I just roll my elbow. You know, the arrow is very close, and it's right here. You know, Horace says that you should see the arrow from the tip to the back. Well, the only way you can do that is line it up just in front of your face. Yes, we can draw back to the ear and shoot on an angle, but I'm telling you, it's right here. That's where you see it go straight. And if you do that kind of stuff, you know, and think that way, well, you'll still get your hits, you know. That's what counts. Okay. Back in a minute. Okay, guys, let's take a couple shots from another angle so that you can see that the hand is right in here. That's where it aims, just in front of the face. Or at least that's as good a spot as any. That'll do. The right arm has to be completely relaxed. that's really sweet. That'll do. You know, all these mechanical devices, I mean, they're great, you know, and I see guys shooting so good, it just embarrasses me. But I just can't get into it. I just can't get into clickers and kissers and sights and shells and drop away shells and, oh, you know, plungers. Anyhow, the thing that I'm doing mostly is pressure. And my right arm is really relaxed, and I just allow it to roll right in front of my face. That's what Horace said. You know, he said that his friend said that he lined up just in front of his face, and that's where I find I push this guy, and he rolls. They go together, and it's as simple as that, or as complicated as that, because I'll tell you, it's you know, really, archery is about the most difficult thing that I ever tried to do, except for living with a woman. You know, that's a good joke. And it's true. But anyhow, if you practice that, rolling your elbow down until that arrow rolls on, being completely relaxed, it will work out pretty good. And it's just, you know, a touch and a feel. And where are we? Oh, yeah. And, you know, we'll get our hits. You know, not going to the Olympics, but we're having a good time. Okay, have fun. Talk to you later. Okay, guys, let's continue on with our little experiment. See if we can get a consistent draw. It should help with elevation. And I could make something a little more permanent than, you know, a rubber band. A small bump of some sort. Just felt it. You still have to aim, of course. Okay, so it seems to be working. I think that we could make something a little more permanent than an elastic band, but again, I'll draw back, and as it comes back so that I can just feel it on my finger, I don't draw back farther than that. It's the same distance. And when you do that, you can get some hits. And it may be a help in elevation, because I find that the farther I push, the higher I will shoot. And it's not because I'm putting more power into the bow, but it's because the horizon is higher than where your feet are, so you're always pushing uphill a little bit. Anyhow, those are the hits. I'll be back in a minute.